Welcome to AnimeFan Narrations, Solo Leveling Episode 42.
Indeed, demonstrating the shadow extraction skill had a profound effect.
It worked on the warriors, so how will it affect the shaman?
Jinwoo's gaze shifted to assess the shaman's reaction.
Ah!
His eyes lit up with satisfaction. At last he saw fear in the creature's eyes. The shaman, now visibly shaken, recalled tales of a being who could raise the dead as shadows. Surely there couldn't be two individuals with such power. That meant this human had to be him.
If he is truly that person, then why are we even here?
But just as the shaman thought about itself and its mind went blank, and the associated memories vanished instantly. Only terror remained. Unaware of this, Jinwoo wore a pleased expression.
Perfect. Keep trembling like that.
His plan to instill unending fear in the shaman had succeeded. Turning with a satisfied smile, he noticed a familiar figure standing by the boss room's entrance. Jinwoo tilted his head.
Who's that?
The person seemed familiar, but not entirely. He took a moment to recall her name, the S-rank hunter with the Hunter's Guild, Haein.
But what is she doing here?
Jinwoo might have been somewhat surprised to see her, but Hein's shock was even greater. Her wide eyes were fixed on Jinwoo and his shadow soldiers.
Solo Leveling, Chapter 91.
Summons?
Hein's first thought upon seeing the shadow soldiers was that they were summoned creatures. But there were far too many for this to be standard summoning magic. Hunters trained in summoning magic typically managed only one creature, maybe two at most if they were especially skilled. A hunter able to command two summons was already considered highly valuable, and she'd never heard of anyone capable of handling three or more. But here, there had to be over 100 of them.
This can't be real.
One man had brought forth over 100 soldiers all at once, without needing much time or effort. In just a moment, he'd summoned dozens upon dozens in a single burst.
I wouldn't believe it if I wasn't seeing it for myself.
Although she was one of the top-ranked hunters in South Korea, this other hunter's power had left her speechless. Still,
this isn't the moment to just stand around.
her focus shifted past the shadow soldiers and settled on the raid team. They looked terrible. Some members were even crouched on the ground, utterly drained of energy. Regardless of who this man, Sung Jinwoo, was or what kind of power he wielded, her priority was clear. She needed to help him by dealing with these high orcs right away. Her thoughts were straightforward, and she was quick to act. Tightening her grip on the weapon she held, she moved toward the high orcs. But just then something stopped her. She caught Jinwoo's gaze, and his eyes communicated something clear. That she didn't need to intervene. That she should simply watch from the sidelines. Haein didn't understand why.
Why though?
She knew Sung Jinwoo could command an overwhelming number of summoned creatures. However, the high orcs standing before them were equally numerous, not to mention their boss who was even more powerful. Surely, Jinwoo's magic would be nearing its limit, having to sustain so many creatures. Yet,
What is he planning to do on his own?
puzzled but ultimately curious, Haein lowered her weapon. It wasn't because the so-called weapon was only a pickaxe she'd borrowed from the mining team. No. She was intrigued by how this hunter named Sung Jinwoo would handle the horde of high orcs before him. Anticipation. Her rational thinking battled with her curiosity, and in the end, curiosity won. Her heartbeat began to quicken in excitement.
Whew, that's a relief.
Jinwoo let out a silent sigh of relief when he saw Haein holding back. The real show was just about to begin, and having someone disrupt things now would have been a nuisance. He had even allowed Sun Gi-hoon to endure that ordeal right up to the last possible second, just to secure the chance to take down all these monsters himself.
Well, Sun's the type to jump in as long as he has some energy left.
That was why he only took action the moment Sun Gi-hoon released his grip on his sword. Jinwoo had held back his impulse to run in and knock out that irritating shaman, all for this precise opportunity.
Smart woman as I thought.
He was relieved that Haein was perceptive enough to step back without him having to shout. With a satisfied smile, Jinwoo shifted his focus back to the front.
Shadows.
At his powerful shout echoing through the boss room, every shadow soldier instantly snapped into position, standing in disciplined formation without a single one out of place. A tense stillness hung in the air for a beat before Jinwoo broke it with a single word as he aimed his finger at the High Orc Shaman.
Go.
With that, a wave of over 100 shadow soldiers surged forward, charging at the terrified High Orc warriors gathered nearby. The synchronized stampede of the dark soldiers made the ground quake, the walls tremble, and the onlookers' eyes widen in awe at the sight. Jincheol was sprinting, breathing hard. He had run so fast that he could taste a strange sweetness at the back of his throat. As he slowed down to catch his breath, he straightened up and noticed a woman with short hair standing by the entrance of the boss room. He recognized her instantly.
Haein, That aura is unmistakable in a hunter. But why is she just standing there, not joining the fight?
Perplexed by her inaction, Wu Jincheol approached her quickly. And as he got closer, he was able to clearly see what was happening inside the boss room.
What's going on here?
Inside, soldiers clad in solid black armor were mercilessly cutting down the formidable High Orc warriors without any resistance. The desperate cries of the High Orcs were so intense that they seemed to overwhelm Wu Jincheol's senses. And it wasn't only the human-like figures that surprised him. What really left him stunned were the enormous black bears with dark smoke billowing from them and the High Orcs, all equipped in various shades of black armor, fighting for Jinwoo.
Good to see you again, Chief Wu Jincheol.
Ah, yes, miss. Likewise. But what on earth are these? They don't seem like ordinary monsters.
They're summons called forth by that man.
Haein greeted Wu Jincheol first, then gestured toward Jinwoo in the distance. Wu Jincheol immediately took off his sunglasses and focused his gaze on Jinwoo, who stood firmly at the heart of the battlefield. With two short swords in his hands, resembling daggers, Jinwoo was cutting through the ranks of High Orcs with ease.
From what I'm seeing, he looks like a high-level melee hunter, doesn't he?
Yet he could also summon creatures? As if to confirm, Jinwoo's lips moved slightly, and in response, even more shadowy figures rose from the ground, ready to fight.
Oh my god!
Wu Jincheol was stunned, mouth hanging open. Just how many of these summons was Jinwoo able to command at once?
So this is Hunter Sung Jinwoo's real power.
He couldn't quite close his mouth, caught in pure awe. Could it be that Association President Gogun had already noticed Jinwoo's talents? If so, his immense interest in Jinwoo suddenly made perfect sense. Haein couldn't take her eyes off Jinwoo for a while, but eventually, she managed to look away and turned to Wu Jincheol with a question.
By the way, Chief Wu, what brings you here? Has the monitoring division already been notified?
Hearing her question, Wu Jincheol pulled himself together and answered.
No, that's not it. We just happened to be nearby. We noticed something unusual about the gate's condition, so we came here to assist in the raid team's evacuation. But well...
Wu Jincheol trailed off, looking back at Jinwoo.
Seems like that won't be needed after all.
This was his first time witnessing the full extent of Hunter Sung Jinwoo's power, and it was nothing short of remarkable. He was taking on an A-rank dungeon entirely by himself. Assistance was clearly unnecessary.
Yes, standing back does seem like the right move here.
Haein agreed with a nod. The way that man fought left no room for even an S-rank hunter like her to intervene.
Do you happen to know who he is?
Haein asked. It was evident that Wu Jincheol admired Sung Jinwoo's capabilities and didn't seem troubled by his identity, at least outwardly. Also, as an association agent, he would know about the association's efforts to keep Jinwoo's details confidential.
So perhaps Wu Jincheol does know who he is.
Her guess was correct.
Yes, I know a little bit.
That man, who exactly is he?
Wu Jincheol put his sunglasses back on and replied.
I'm afraid that's classified information.
The shaman was enraged. From the moment it had awakened in this place, a single command had burned in its mind. Hunt the humans! But what was this humiliating scene before it? How could a lone human be wiping out its entire tribe with such ease? This shouldn't have been possible. No, such an outcome was unthinkable. The shaman's eyes turned an even fiercer shade of red as it watched its kin being slaughtered.
You wretched little pest. I'll crush you underfoot.
If curses couldn't harm this foe, then it would just have to strengthen itself and fight directly.
The song of fury. The song of might. The song of the giants. The song of the fire dragon.
With the final notes of its incantations, the shaman's body swelled to nearly 10 meters, its muscles bulging with newfound strength. Its power, agility, endurance, and confidence surged, filling every fiber of its being. The shaman swung its enormous arm, scattering the shadow soldiers with ease, then drew in a deep breath. And then, as it exhaled, dark red flames burst from its mouth. The soldiers caught directly by the flames dissolved on impact, scattering in all directions. Even those barely touched by the fiery breath had limbs torn away, leaving them too damaged to keep fighting. The inferno wasn't just a one-time attack. Another stream of flames shot from the shaman's mouth immediately after, significantly reducing the shadow soldier's ranks. Feeling bolder with each strike, it roared with pride.
Does the great Kargargan seem so laughable now?
The answer came from just above its head.
Yep.
The shaman froze, looking up, frantically trying to summon a defensive spell. But Jinwoo moved faster. The shaman's head slammed down onto the ground, the impact spreading jagged cracks across the floor. Jinwoo had once shattered Vulcan with a single punch, and that demon had been far larger than this conceited shaman.
You have killed the owner of the dungeon.
He landed lightly on the ground, greeted by a cascade of congratulatory notifications filling his view.
Level up.
Nice.
Jinwoo clenched his fist in triumph. He'd gained a level when using stealth in battle, then another while dispatching the orcs, and now another after slaying the boss. 3 level-ups from clearing an A-rank dungeon, far beyond his expectations. He couldn't help but feel grateful to Foreman Bay for suggesting they team up yesterday.
This is really working out.
With a satisfied grin, Jinwoo approached the fallen boss. The shaman's once enlarged form had already shrunk back to its normal size. He noticed a magic crystal, about the size of an egg, set in a necklace around the shaman's neck, but he decided not to be greedy.
The experience points are reward enough.
This dungeon belonged to the Hunters Guild after all. If Jinwoo wanted a magic crystal from an A-rank dungeon, he didn't need to come to someone else's territory. He could simply get a permit and enter his own dungeon. No, what Jinwoo was really after was something else. His eyes were locked on the black smoke rising slowly from the boss's body. He licked his lips with anticipation. Memories of Baruka's corpse slipping away back in the Red Gate surfaced in his mind.
Thanks for watching Solo Leveling on AnimeFan Narrations. If you enjoyed it, please like, subscribe, and hit the bell for updates. Share your thoughts in the comments. See you next time.